Hi everybody, this is Bethany from Count Your Stitches. We're going live today with a beginner's crochet tutorial. So I'll wait a couple minutes or a couple of seconds or so to see if anybody is going to hop on to do it with us. If not, that's totally fine. You can watch the replay, hashtag replay below. If you're excited about this, comment, like, and share this video. I have a new little tripod thing. I kind of set up a little jerry-rig space where I can do some tutorials. I'm going to give it a whirl. Today's tutorial is going to focus on some of the things that I have in my crochet pack. I'm going to focus on doing a basic chain stitch, how to start that, how to do a slip knot, just kind of like the basics of getting going. So we'll kind of get going now. Give me just a quick second. I am going to kind of reconfigure the camera here so that way I can so you guys can see what's below me. It is thundering and lightning and pouring outside, so enjoy. Here we go. I'm going to flip everything around. Hopefully this works and we'll get going. All right, we are flipped. Yeah, we got my little weight there. And we're going to put this here. Get this going, get our light on. All right. Woo-hoo-hoo. Make sure we are good to go. All right. So, here we go. We're going to start with, this is my crochet pack. I got this on Amazon. It was probably $25 or so. I can link it below if anybody wants. It came with some crochet hooks, so I'm going to kind of walk you through that. So it's 2 compartments, which is awesome. It came with some crochet hooks. Now, this is a crochet hook. I don't want to be too assuming in terms of what people know. So this is a crochet hook that has kind of a rubber handle. I do a lot of crocheting, so I find having, I believe, what's called an ergonomic handle helps me. I did start with hooks just like this, the metal classic hooks from my mom, from my great-grandmother, so this is how I started. But just because I do crochet so often, I did kind of go over to these, I don't know if you can see them, these rubber handled hooks. Love them. Also in my pack, I have a pair of scissors, always. I got these at Joann's. You can get them at Michael's also, even Walmart, little crane on them. I forget the brand, but I do recommend getting a pair of scissors from a craft store that are more specific for crafting, just because utility scissors don't always work as well on yarn, can be a little bit finicky. So I always have a small pair of scissors. I always have my embroidery needle. I have a bunch of them, but I always keep one kind of right here. This is for sewing in the ends of your yarn when you're doing a big project, and you got some ends hanging around. And you know, if you're putting in eyes or a nose on a stuffed animal or anything like that. I also have some stitch markers. So again, when you're working on a bigger project and you need to keep track of where you are, you can use these. These look like little baby diaper pins. They have ones that are just circles that you kind of just slide in. But again, Michael's, Joann's, Walmart, Amazon, you can get anything you'd like, whatever works best for you. So those are kind of I use all the times right here. And then here is the not as often. So I have all different sizes of hooks in both places, and then the super big ones, because depending on your size of yarn, that depends, it varies with what hook size you'll have to use, and depending on your project as well. I'll talk about that in a bit. But in the back here, I have some pins, so when I'm doing stuffed animals, I can pin all the pieces in place. I always have a tape measure in case you have to measure anything. I love this kind. My mom had one of those when I was a kid. Some bigger embroidery needles for bigger projects, a nice ruler, and this is kind of a neat pair of scissors that came with the kit. Oh, I got embroidery needles getting stuck here. These are a pair of cool pair of scissors. I don't really use them, but it is nice to have an extra pair of crafting scissors around. So I'm just going to throw this all back in real quick and talk about what we're going to use today. So I am going to use a 5mm hook. So I'm not sure if you can see, but here it says that this is a 5mm hook. Hook sizes range, oh gosh, all sorts, but they're measured in numbers and letters. So 5mm is equivalent to an H hook, the letter H. You can find all of the measurements online. I can put a link in this description later as well. And the H or the I hook, which are also these two metal ones right here, because you can see on this one, I don't know if you can see, but here it says H and then it says 5 millimeters, so sometimes it gives you both, sometimes it doesn't. But these are the two most common needle sizes when you're using what's called a worsted weight yarn. Worsted weight yarn is kind of that everyday yarn, whether it's Red Heart or I'm trying to think, Lion Brand, kind of that basic yarn that they sell, Super Saver and all those kinds of things, Made with Love. I think that's all through Red Heart. And this is a size 4 yarn. Worsted weight yarn is a size 4. When you have your skein, it'll have a label on it, and in the back of that you'll see a little mini skein, a picture of one that'll have a number, and it'll say a 4 if it's worsted weight. Which is again most commonly used yarn for most projects. If you are using a chunky yarn, or maybe say a 5 or a 6, but for that, or if it's a thinner yarn, it might say, you know, a 3 or a 2. So for the worsted weight, most common yarn, the H and the I are recommended, again, on that back label. So the label helps you a lot, really kind of foolproof. So if you're doing a project without a pattern, follow what it says, follow what we say here. So, you know, that and the back of that label. If you're doing a project with a pattern, follow what the pattern tells you. So, without further ado, grab your hook, grab some yarn, and let's get started. So, we need a place to begin, so we need a slip knot. So a slip knot, it's pretty easy. So I'm going to hopefully be able to do this for you so you guys can see. So you have the short end, which is the end that isn't going to get crocheted with, and you got the piece, you know, hooked up to your skein. So you're going to hold it like this. You're going to cross your short end over your long end. So you have a little loop-de-loop there, short end over the long end. And then you're going to take this loop and you're going to flip it forward so that it's over that long piece. And then take your hook and you're going to just grab that piece, making sure you're holding your two tails, and you're going to pull up. And it's going to start to tighten. Now to tighten this on your hook, pull the long piece that is connected to your skein and tighten that bad boy up. Don't tighten it too much. You want it to still be able to move, but that it does have a little bit of hold to it. All right, so let's try that one more time. The nice thing about crochet is, boom, things come apart really easily. So let's take a look at this one more time. So we're gonna have our short end and our long end like this. We're gonna cross our short end over our long end, a little smaller there. And then we're going to flip that loop over, grab your hook, grab that middle piece, and we're going to grab our two ends here, pull tight with both, then let go of the short one, pull the long one, and tighten that right up. And again, not too tight. I do want to stop real quick here and say that if you are left-handed, I would recommend that you try crocheting left. I know that sounds horrible, but left-handed crocheting is definitely a lot different. It has a totally different skill set in terms of things you need to learn. So I would recommend trying right-handed. However, comment below if you'd really like to learn left-handed. I can find, I have some resources I could share with you if you really want to learn how to crochet left-handed. Definitely something I mentioned in my last live that I could not master, teaching my cousin how to do left-handed. So we're going to go right-handed. I apologize. But you do have to involve both hands, so it does require skills with both hands. So we're going to go right-handed right now, and if you do want left-handed resources, just let me know. So now that we have our slip knot on our hook, we are going to talk about how we hold our yarn. So we've got the short end here that's just kind of hang out, and I sometimes kind of hold it with the hook a little bit here, if you can see that. And then we have this piece here. So you're going to hold your palm out, and the way you hold your hook and the way you hold your yarn, you're going to develop that over time as you crochet. My mom sort of holds her hook this way, and that's how I learned. So that's where I came up with this, from her. And then I think I changed it a bit from the way she does. Some people hold their hook this way. It really just depends. It's kind of like a pencil grip. So you'll develop it over time as you continue to crochet. So hold your hook. This way I think gives you a lot of stability and a lot of ease with the movement. So I tend to hold it this way, and then for my yarn, again, you'll develop this over time, but the way I do it is I have my palm, and I lay the yarn over my 3 fingers here, and then I bring it over my pointer finger. So I'll show that again. We're going to lay it over the 3 and then bring it up and over towards yourself over that pointer finger. Then you kind of transition your hand up here, and I take my ring finger and my pinky, and those kind of naturally bend over my yarn, the rest of the yarn that's hooked to the skein. And then my my middle finger, goodness gracious, my middle finger and my thumb hold on to kind of that bottom of the slip knot there on the hook. All right, and then I have kind of my finger sticking up here, which that you'll see that kind of move as we go along. So I'm going to show that to you one more time. So we're going to have our palm down. We're going to lay over the 3. We're going to bring that up and over our pointer finger. The index, the ring, and the, oh my gosh, this is difficult. The ring and the pinky finger are going to bend over that yarn there. Your middle finger and your thumb are going to hold on to that slip knot, and your pointer finger is going to be there to kind of hold the tension. So again, tension is big here. So let me just get myself here. You want this to be able to move. You don't want it so tight that it, you can't even, it's hard to grab anything and I can't move that finger, but you also don't want it, way out here. So again, this is something you'll get used to over time. It really does take time to get acclimated with that. So now that you're here though, you'll see my finger kind of move, because as you pick up yarn, your yarn's going to move. It's going to move your finger. So you'll see me kind of loosening and tightening my grip as I go. So we are here. We are ready to begin. We have our slip knot on our hook. We have our yarn wrapped around our hand the way we'd like to, the way is most comfortable for us. I apologize if this is going too fast. Feel free to stop me or pause me or whatever you need to do to catch up, and then come back with us. So we're here. We're ready. Now we are going to start crocheting what is called the chain stitch. The chain is the basic foundation for almost all of crochet. It definitely has variations and things that build on it, but it is the foundation. Definitely the number one first thing you should learn. So if you notice, this slip knot is a loop, and this loop is on your hook. So what we're going to do is just continue to make loop after loop that go through this beginning slip knot. So what we're going to do is you're going to take your hook and move it towards you, and then underneath, I'm going to make sure everybody can see this. So take your hook, move it towards you, or if you're kind of looking this way, to the left of your yarn, so towards you, then under that yarn, and then we're going to pull it through this loop here. So you're going to pull through, and as you're pulling through, you're kind of gonna turn your crochet hook so that way the hook is down, so it makes for ease when you're pulling through that loop. And there you see we have 2 loops here. So let's try that again. Good thing with a chain is you can just keep going. I'm just gonna stand up, make sure this looks okay. Awesome. All right. Hopefully this is still looking all right. I just shook everything. Hopefully nothing fell. All right. So again, we're going to move our crochet hook toward ourselves underneath that yarn, and then you're going to turn your hook so that it is down. It's at that little top hook is in the downward position. You're going to pull your yarn ever so gently through that loop and up, and then now we have 3 loops. We've got 1 here, 1 here, and 1 on our hook. You'll always have at least 1 loop on your hook. You have to. That's the key. So again, let's try that one more time together. We're going to go, make sure I'm in the screen. There we go. We're going to bring your hook towards you, then underneath, then pull that through while turning your hook, go through the loop, and come on up. Now, when you come on up, you have the ability to go woohoo with your yarn, and you do not want to do that. We want to try to make even stitches here. But again, that's going to take some time. So you just kind of pull that back, stick your hook right back through the yarn, pull it, just like you did your slip knot, get yourself going again, wrap around, grab, and then we're going to just tighten a little bit. I just like to make sure that it's, again, tight, not too tight, but I don't want to have any gaps or anything like this. I like to keep it a bit tight. So there we go. Again, we're going to go wrap around, turn our hook, and pull through. Wrap around, turn our hook, and pull through. Wrap around, turn our hook and pull through. I do recommend that when you pull through, that your hook is in that downward position, as if the top of the loop is at the is up here, not your opening facing your top. Because see how that can get stuck like that, and that'll just pull your yarn. It'll mess up your tension on you. So I always recommend that when you're pulling, that, oh gosh, it even messed up my yarn, twisted it. I just always recommend when you're pulling through that hook get turned down like this. It get turned down when you pull through. And so then you'll have a chain. Let me do a few more so you can kind of see it a little bit better. We pull through, we pull through, we pull through, pull through. So you can see my finger moving as my tension kind of moves. And I'm just pulling it out so I don't lose my place. And this is kind of what you have. Again, the beautiful part about crochet, well, I shouldn't say beautiful and not so beautiful, is that it pulls out really easily. So if you don't have something that looks like this and you want to try to make it look like this, you can just easily pull on the piece that's hooked to your skein and whoop, and it is gone entirely. But that's also horrible. I've, was crocheting on the couch, and I had it on my lap and thought I took it all off my lap and put it on, on the side table, and then realized I was, still hooked to it somehow, and I pulled half a project out. So that's not great. But yeah, so that's kind of your basics. I'm gonna go real quick here again with my slip knot, flip over, pull up here, tighten that up, and I'm gonna do a few more chains just so you can kind of see. And that's really all we're gonna do today as just a beginning crochet tutorial. And you can see too, as I do a few chains, I move my middle finger and my thumb up to always kind of be near that hook. That also helps you with your tension of your yarn. I can go, I don't know, I could probably go maybe about this far. It's about 5 stitches without having my thumb and middle finger up there, but it just helps. It helps with stability, with uniform stitches. It just makes everything look nicer. So this is kind of where we'll end up. So that's where we're starting today. We did our chain. We started with our slip knot. Talked about a few things that should be in your crochet pack. That's actually, how funny, that coordinated. I didn't even try to do that. If you have any questions about today, please feel free to put that in the comments, or message me. I'm going to flip this around so I can talk to you one more time. Forgive me one moment, please. Here we go. We are flipping around. All right. Hi again. So if you do have any questions, please let me know. Again, we have our chain done. This light is awful. We are going to shut it off so I don't look so ooh. Oh, hi, Elizabeth. Sorry, I just saw that. I wasn't looking at it, but hi, Elizabeth from Boston. Love it. Thank you so much for watching. So that was our basics for today. Again, questions, please put them in the comments or in a message. I will get to all of them. I do promise. Next time, we will get into building off of this chain stitch. We'll do a little bit of a review, and then we'll move on from there. Please let me know. Comments, feedback, anything like this. It's my first time doing this kind of tutorial. Again, I kind of jerry-rigged something here. We've got a weight holding down the tripod, and we were stacked on some staple boxes, and it was really kind of fun. But again, thank you guys so much. If I don't talk to you again before this weekend, have a happy 4th of July to you and your family. Enjoy, be safe. Thanks again, and always remember to count your stitches. Bye.